a dynamic woman who I've also come to know more recently in time, but she has had a really nice and powerful impact on my life. Sorry. Our next honoree is Miss Jasmyne Cannick. Jasmyne is definitely known for addressing issues that others can't or simply won't take up. Doing what I do, I've been very aware of her work and commitment to our community and to the community at large, especially when it involves women and making a difference in the lives of women. At first, I have to admit, I was a little hesitant to try to get to know Jasmyne, because for those of you who know her, she can be intimidating. She can, you know? But what I've learned is that she's not only a no-nonsense person, but she's about results. She's about getting things done, and she's about making a difference. But one day, I actually reached out to Jasmyne. As a matter of fact, Danny and I were talking about an issue one day, and he even said, you need to reach out to Jasmyne. And I was like, why don't you call her? And he said, no, you call her, and here's her phone number. And so I called her, and when I called her, and I said, you know what, I would really like to connect with you and get to know you better and meet you. And she said, well, okay, fine, meet me at Simply Wholesome. I was like, okay, I'm on my way, I'm coming, what day, you know? And from that very first meeting, we've had a connection that I realized, just like so many of us in life, people get misunderstood. Yes. And the more I got to talk to her, the more she began to even, you know, share with me about her life and her story and all the things that she was doing. It really touched me. And then I was sharing with her about my daughter and some things that my daughter wanted to do as it relates to communications and everything. She said, well, give me your daughter. Give me your daughter. Tell her to call me. And we call her now. And we're like, okay, we need help with this, or can you teach Courtney how to do that, or whatever, because my daughter came and started working for me about 6 months ago. She had been in corporate America in New York, and then I moved her back to LA to work for PSP. And so in doing that, I began to see a heart that Jasmyne had, not only for just some of the political issues, because some of you may know her that way, but also the issues that plague so many women in terms of the negative images that they have of themselves. And I don't want to say too much because I know that she may say something, but in that, I saw her heart. And then she would share with me about, you know, her family and her life and all the things that were going on. And then she said, but Wendy, I'm also here to support you. And it was like a wall that came down that allowed me to know that she's my sister and that she is there and that she does care. And when I began to, because they didn't know, everybody that is up here, I've gone into do more research, not just, you know, me knowing you that way. And as I talked to other people that knew Jasmyne, they all had the same thing to say, that sometimes her exterior may seem strong and kind of at aloof, but inside she had a heart that was for everybody, and a heart of like a baby, that she was tender and she was soft. And I was encouraged by that, and I felt that today was a day that I wanted to honor her and bring her forward in terms of all the things that she's doing as it relates to forgiveness. Miss Jasmyne Cannick.
First start off with Councilman Parks, will you forgive me for the Parker Center controversy we had to go through this week? Please forgive me. We are still friends. Politics is never personal. We just got, you know, these issues that we have to address. We still cool though, right? See? Forgiveness. It's so nice to be here, and I typed up my comments, and sometimes there are a lot of points that I'd like to make, and I often forget, so I'm going to go through them. First, I wanted to just acknowledge Wendy and say thank you so much for acknowledging me, because anytime someone takes the time out of their life to acknowledge the work that someone else is doing, it's a special thing in our community, because we don't do that too often. And a lot of us are really working hard at doing great things, and I just really appreciate it. And I also want to say thank you to everyone with PSP and anyone who had anything to do with putting on today's event. It's really been a really great, lovely Saturday afternoon, and thank you so much. And I'd also like to say job well done and congratulations to all my fellow honorees. Some of you I just knew in passing. Some of you I didn't know at all, and just hearing your stories and what it is that you do in the community has been very inspiring, so thank you. I've gotten a lot of awards for different things, but I think this one is probably going to be my favorite award, just for what it stands for. In my life, I've learned that learning how to forgive is just as hard as learning how to live sometimes. And there was a time in my life when I couldn't love anyone, not even myself. I've never talked about this publicly. This is like my first time, like, just, you know, letting this out. A lot of you know me from working in Congress or working in Sacramento, on television, doing all these things, but way before that Jasmine, there was the runaway Jasmine. There was the Jasmine who, as a teenager, felt like she needed to live on the streets in Hollywood. There was the Jasmine who lived in group homes and foster homes from the age of 13 all the way up to 17. And there was the Jasmine who was fast. There was the Jasmine who had a smart mouth and a bad attitude, and at 13 thought she knew everything and was mad at the world. And if you were to ask my family, they tell you that during that time, it was really hard to love me. I've done so many things in my life that I regret, not only to myself, but to my family and to my friends. And so I just want to say the person standing here before you has really, really, really come a long ways. And so what I want to say is that through it all, there's one person in my life who never gave up on me, and she means the world to me, and I brought her here with me today, and that's my grandmother. I put my grandmother through a lot. I put her through nights where she had to worry about whether I was alive or dead, out in the streets, just running my own thing at a young age. And it's my grandmother who taught me how to forgive, because she never gave up on me, and she forgave me. And she waited patiently for me to come out on the other end of all my madness to be the person that she knew that I could be. And that's why I'm here today, because of her. And I said I've come a long ways, but I still have a long ways to go. One of my favorite songs is by Mary J. Blige, and she has a line that she says, "I like what I see when I'm looking at me when I'm walking past the mirror," and that's how I feel today in my life. And in closing, what I do want to also make mention of is that it takes a village to raise a child, we always say. And I'm going to add on to that it also takes a village sometimes to raise a young adult. And there are many people in this community who have mentored me, who have been there for me, whether they knew it or not, and that I look up to, and I'm so appreciative. And some of those people you may know and you may not know, but I just want to acknowledge them. One person is here today, Brenda Marsh Mitchell. I love you like a mother. She's just the greatest. You know, my family, Yvonne Wheeler with the AFL-CIO, the Pan-African Film Festivals, Asantewaa and Babu, Nona Cohen, who owns the Body Clinic, Councilwoman Jan Perry, Assembly Speaker Karen Bass, and my friends who have been with me through thick and thin. So I just want to say thank you so much. Congratulations to everyone who's being honored today. Wendy, thank you very much, and Grandma, I love you.
When I'm looking at me when I'm walking past the mirror, don't stress through the night at a time in my life, ain't worried about if you feel it. Got my head on straight, I got my vibe right, I ain't gonna let you kill it.